Hey, welcome to another episode of Quick Question. We've got Dan Ryckert here today.
Hello.
We just started. Just give us like 20
I
minutes.
thought it was supposed to be quick.
We put it on the calendar.
It's a quick question, but
I have a quick question. Are you done?
that's funny. But no, it's not. Just give us 20 minutes. Just 20
It's on the
minutes.
calendar. We have
Yeah. Do it. Just get a coffee. Get another coffee. Get
I
another.
record Kirby!
That's fucking Kirby thing now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's time for Quick Question. I'm here with Dan Ryckert from Giant Bomb.
That's me. I'm Dan. How are you, Jeff?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Okay,
It's
well-
great to work with you. We only get to work together like once a week.
I know. It's everything.
Let's hang out more.
Everything in moderation is
Yes.
what I say.
Yes.
We're talking all about God of War. We're taking your questions. We've got a lot to answer. Let's get right into it. If I'm big into combat in the vein of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, or the old God of Wars, is this combat gonna do it for me? It looks really toned down, so I'm unsure.
It's a good question.
It is a good
I'm
question.
very curious about that too.
Because it is a different game. It is not that sort of like isometric God of War scrolling. You know that.
So you're not going to be getting like some Devil May Cry super stylish, action rating.
I think Devil May Cry. Those games are over the top, sort of actiony, very focused on combos and pulling off moves and stuff like that. God of War has that. It makes it easier to do those combos. It is a more accessible action game, in my opinion. But the perspective in which you play it is sort of third person, where it's grounded and you're sort of not watching it from the viewpoint of view of the first three games.
Right.
So I think it is a different sort of aesthetic that will take you some time to get used to. But at the same time, I think it's going to be a satisfying evolution of that, judging from what I've played. Nate wants to know, what's the weapon variety like? Is there any? And do you get to meet Loki? Well, here's how it works. The part I played, you only have that axe and melee. That's not to say I would imagine more weapons are going to be in this game, but I just played some axe stuff and some melee fist fighting stuff. And you get a shield and you kind of like hit people with a shield.
So no indication of like the Blades of Chaos. Do they touch on that, or like did he lose them?
I didn't see it in my gameplay. I would be surprised if they don't show up in this game.
Pretty iconic.
They're pretty great. I mean, those weapons are fantastic. I would imagine they show up. Ken is asking more about the sun. Is he helpful, annoying, useful in this game? I can answer that real quick from what I played. He seems pretty useful. He's good at like distracting. I didn't get to do that much in terms of controlling him, but it seems like that relationship that you have with him will evolve in terms of how useful he is during combat. So, from what I played, it seems pretty cool. Fructicus wants to know, on a scale of 9 to 10, how angry is Kratos? Well, Kratos, if I'm dealing with 9 or 10, in this one he feels like a 9.
Really?
Yeah, like
He's toned him down.
they toned him down a little bit.
More of a simmering internal rage.
The whole opening is him having moments with his kids, so it's not like he's 10 out of the gate. I mean, I'm sure he gets to 10 2 hours into the thing. I mean, I played a part where he was a solid 10. Blitz Rules 240. Hey, Jeff and Dan, if Kratos was a chef, what do you think his specialty would be, and would you eat at his restaurant?
I absolutely would,
Yeah?
because my diet is largely just meat and
Okay.
cheese, but I wouldn't trust Kratos for the cheese part, really. He could figure it out. You just throw it on the meat. But it would be a lot of meat from things he slaughtered, like centaur.
Yes. I think this would undeniably be a carnivorous restaurant.
Yes.
But I feel like everything would just be undercooked.
Why?
I just don't see
He has
Kratos taking...
He has flame
Yeah,
sword
but I don't
things.
think Kratos is like taking the time to check the meat. He seems like he's in a rush. I don't think he's checking the temperature. We're all gonna get sick. Dark Beat asks, do you think the father-son dynamic is going to work as well as the father-daughter dynamic did in games like Walking Dead and Last of Us?
Well, The Walking Dead was a shitty game, and I think that God of War will be a good game, so I hope that it's different in that way.
Right.
But I am worried, maybe not worried, because I trust this team, but I just don't want him to get in the way of stuff like Last
Like
of Us.
physically?
Well, I just don't want to have to, I don't want this to be an escort mission. I
Right,
don't want this
I'm
to be
with
Resident
you
Evil
there.
4, I want this to be more like Last of Us.
From what I've played of the new one, there will be some of that where the kid, he'll sort of be like, oh, didn't it look like you got stomped by a giant? But then he's just sort of like, squirreling his way through.
He doesn't have a life bar?
Not what I played.
Okay.
You can sort of tell him to shoot arrows at stuff, at bosses, but Yeah, from what I played, and again, that was just a small little slice, I don't see him getting in the way. From Tim Cross, since Dan is now a Dragon Ball Z expert,
Yes.
which character in DBZ is Kratos most like?
I think he's a Vegeta in terms of Vegeta's a man who's very, very angry. He's extremely powerful. The thing I think is a bit different is that Vegeta gets a little overconfident sometimes, and he thinks he can do this stuff, and he's like, oh God, I'm an idiot. Whereas like Kratos just kind of gets it done.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think Kratos is overconfident. I think Kratos is the right level of confident because he's the best.
Ports asks, if you were a Greek god, which would you be?
I had to Google Greek gods because I don't know which ones are Greek and which ones are Nordic or Norse or whatever.
Fully transparent here, that's great.
I would say my first guess before I did any research would be Zeus, because in anything where you can choose between powers, I always go with the lightning god.
Right.
But then I read about Hades, and he's a king, he's very wealthy, and he's got a cool dog with 3 heads, and I think I'd be a good Hades.
Okay, you do come off like a good Hades.
I think I'd be really good.
If you had to invent a type of god, like what would you be the god of?
Oh boy, fast food?
Yeah, like the god of trans fats. Little backstory here, Dan likes to play pranks on his dad on YouTube.
It's true.
So Sean Owens chimes in and asks, if Kratos was Dan's father, would Dan attempt to prank him?
I don't think so, because the reason I'm so generous with my pranking of my father is because he's not creative in the prankster type of way, so I don't have to worry about retaliation from him, and also he's a weak man and would never be able to take me in a fight.
Okay.
We've had a couple post-bar times where we've tested this, and
Really?
he gets winded very quickly.
You guys have had like actual fist fights?
Not like
Just
punching
like
each other, but
wrestling.
he gets winded
Headlocks.
immediately.
Yeah,
I've
like
won
that.
every time. And Kratos, I don't think he would find the humor
Yeah.
in the pranks, and also he could very much retaliate against me.
Kratos is the kind of dad that when you hear the garage door opening, you really get nervous and scared, like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Mine's the type of dad where if he hears me open the garage door, he complains about the air conditioner bill. So,
Okay.
a bit different there.
Two different types of dads.
Yeah.
Got it. At Grim Reefs, what's better, Nick Cage's Lord of War or Sony's God of War?
I like Lord of War a lot. It's a good movie. But just by the sheer fact that one has Jared Leto in it and one doesn't, I gotta go with the one that doesn't have Jared Leto. God of War's better.
Sounds like Dan really likes Jared Leto.
He's a stupid, bad person.
Boy.
Not dead, not dead!
All right, that's going to do it for us. Dan Ryckert, thank you so very much.
Jeff Bakalar, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
This was great. I hope we answered all your God of War questions. Where can the good people find you?
On Twitter at Dan Ryckert, and also on GiantBomb.com. And if you like podcasts, we do the Giant Beast Cast with this guy. It goes up every Friday.
All right, make sure you do that. You can like and subscribe and do all the buttons that they have here on the YouTube video, and then hit the bell up there somewhere. And what does the bell do?
It's good service.
Good service. If you
Yeah.
got good service, hit the bell. Thank you so very much. Dan Ryckert,
Yes.
Appreciate it, man.
Of course, I had a
All
great
right.
time. Thanks for having me on.
You guys done now?
We were getting
Seriously,
the...
it is Kirby time.
Okay.
Kirby time.
I
Get over,
think he's got to sit there.
It's Kirby time.
Mike.
Bye.
All right, it's Kirby time. All right. Well, you guys have been really hospitable.
Yeah,
This is
sorry.
awesome.
Let me-
Okay. What?
Bye. See you guys. Thanks for coming in.
Kirby.
Very quick.
Yeah.
So fast.
All right. Thanks,
I
Nick.
didn't have lunch first.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Vinny. All right, we're here. Goodbye.